just want to bring your attention to the Australian dollar versus the US dollar on the weekly time frame. As you can see, we've come close to testing this level here at 0.7165. As you can see, it got rejected in May 2016 and more recently in December 2016. But more recently, we've just come very close to testing it as of last week, and last week's close as a bullish pin bar reversal could really represent a decent launch pad for a longer term reversal. Remember that sometimes when there are bulls creeping back into the market, it's so bullish that essentially price doesn't even get the chance to test the levels. So what we have seen here are bulls charging back into the market before price has even had the chance to kiss the level. What is more as well is we've had bullish reversal divergence on the stochastic setting 833. Whether we had this on the RSI setting 6, not quite. We often can't get these two indicators lining up perfectly. But what the interesting thing about Aussie dollar is the fact that this coincides with an A, B, C, D completion. This free wave harmonic formation is quite reliable in marking turning points, especially near significant levels of support and resistance. So just to reiterate, we've got point A, point B, point C, point D. So if we draw point B to point A with our Fibonacci extension, we can see that it's just about rejected 1.272. The 1.618 is below this horizontal level, which really does look like a proverbial brick wall in the way, preventing price from going down any further. So given the fact that we have also a false breakout from this rectangle, this zone of consolidation, let me just highlight this for you. There we go. There we have it. So if we just zoom in that a little bit more, I'm going to expand this rectangle here. There we go. So we had the breakout week before last, and now we've had the close just inside it again, which signifies a false breakout, which is even more powerful in terms of giving us evidence in favor of this trade. Another thing as well is seasonality. Now, this is something we keep a cursory glance on, how currencies have typically performed over the past 2 decades. This equityclock.com gives us the general flavour as to how the Australian dollar in this case has performed on average over the past 20 years. I know 20 is not quite like 50, so it's hardly scientific, but it gives us a very good indication. And as we can see here, towards the end of August, which is precisely now as we really are hurtling towards the final week, we can see that we have historically had a bit of a bull run into September prior to an even more protracted bull run at the beginning of October and towards the start of winter in November. So this could potentially be a very good launch pad if this theme does play out. So what we're going to do for the Australian dollar versus the US dollar is simply place our order above last week's high with our stop loss below last week's low. And if it works out, then fantastic. We'll take a 1-to-1 at the first target at a 1-to-1, because you can see here that based on the fact that over the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, we've been trapped in this box, essentially, this consolidation, then what we can hope for, at least, at the very least, is for price to essentially come back into this range and test round about the top. That will be well in excess of a 1-to-1. So what we'll do is, if, as and when we get a 1-to-1, we will simply take half the profits off the table and move our stop loss to break even. And it could be that we get a bearish pin bar reversal, rejecting the 20 moving average on the way down, just like we had here earlier in June. If we do get a bearish pin bar reversal on the weekly at the top of this box, then we'll look to sell it accordingly and anticipate a further move down to this level. But of course, we've got the first opportunity to buy. We've got, just to repeat, an ABCD completion pattern here. It's a false breakout. We've got bullish reversal divergence on the stochastic, and we are as close as damn it to this well-respected level of support.